Hello friends and welcome at my channel. Today I would like to show you guys something about asymptotes. So we're going to compute asymptotes for different functions and basically it's about limits. So we let x run towards plus or minus infinity and then we'll figure out what the result would be. So let's start with number one, which is f of x equals to 1 divided over x minus 2 squared. Well, you see, basically we can ask what's happening if x, so obviously this function is asymptotic, and it doesn't matter whether it's running towards plus or minus infinity. In both cases, in this situation, we're going to have 0 as a result, obviously. Why? Well, if x is increasing, we're dividing by a bigger number, which is getting bigger and bigger, and 1 remains still, so 1 divided by the huge number is running towards 0. So the asymptote in this case is the x-axis itself. Number 2, f of x equals to, let's say, x minus 5 plus x squared divided over square root out of x squared plus 7. What will happen here? Well, look carefully. You see, what about this fraction? What's happening here? Well, obviously, the numerator is quadratic and the denominator is linear, right? Because if we're taking a square root out of x squared plus 7, it's going to be running like x. So basically, this is kind of x squared divided by x. So this is approximately x itself. And then we have one more x. So the asymptote is going to be something like 2x minus 5, roundabout. Okay. Once again, we're talking about the limits in front of infinity. Okay. Number 3, f of x equals to x divided over x squared minus 4x plus 7. What's happening here? Well, obviously, the denominator in both cases, by the way, is going to be um, stronger than the numerator, so the limit is 0. So the x-axis itself. f of x equals to e to the power of minus x squared plus 3. Well, you see, the bigger x would be, the bigger x squared will be, and since we have a minus, it will produce a reciprocal, so this value is going to decrease in both cases, and is going to be running towards 0. So y equals to 3 is the asymptote in such a case. What will happen? Which number was that? 4. Let's do 7 for today. I think it will be fine. Let's do number 5. F of x equals to, let's say, yeah, x cubed divided over x cubed minus, I don't know, 2 or something. What will happen here? Well, you see the limit in this case, so the numerator and the denominator are equal. Well, almost equal. Let me write it differently. So let me write it this way. Okay, so we can split it into two fractions. This one gives you 1, of course, if x is unequal to the cubic root out of 2. And this one, well, it runs towards 0 if x is increasing, right? So y equals to 1 is the asymptote. Number 6, what do we have there? F of x equals to e to the power of minus x. Well, if you remember how the function looks like, so e to the power of x is just running steep, And e to the power of minus x is also running steep, but steep down, right? So this is the way it works. So we have no asymptote if we're running to the left-hand side, but if we are running towards plus infinity in this case, it's going to be 0. And the last one for tonight, f of x equals to sine of x divided over x. What's happening here? X runs towards infinity still. Doesn't matter plus or minus of f of x. You see sine is at most 1, at least minus 1, and x is just as large as you wish. So we have at most 1 divided by infinity, seems to be 0, and at least minus 1 divided by, well, even though minus infinity or whatever, it's still almost 0. So the x-axis itself is the asymptote in this case. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video. All the best. Bye-bye.